Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us on Spin and Win the podcast. Welcome, fellow will enthusiasts, to Spin and Win the podcast. I'm Quinn.
And I'm Kellen, and together we're here to take you on an incredible journey through the lives of Wheel of Fortune alumni.
Join us as we uncover the personal tells, triumphs, and transformations of those who spun the wheel and won big.
From cherished moments on set to the impact of their lives, we're diving deep into the stories before, during, and after their iconic Wheel of Fortune experience.
This podcast is a celebration of diverse paths, a spotlight on the incredible individuals who dare to solve puzzles and chase a fortune. So tune in.
And let's spin the wheel.
All right, here we go. Tonight we have Mel. Mel, how are you?
Doing swell. How are y'all doing?
We're doing good.
Good.
Doing
Thank you for
good.
joining us. We truly
Yeah,
appreciate
it took me a lot of self-control to not say it was a splendid day. Sorry, Kellen.
it.
It's okay.
Oh, that's
I'm,
cool.
I'm, I'm, I'm getting better. I'm getting better by that word, but it's not easy.
I promise that'll be the last time I bring it up.
It's okay.
All right, Mel. So first things first, can you please tell us about yourself?
Oh gosh, where to begin? Well, I am Mel, and I am a native of the Bay Area, California, specifically San Jose. Um, Gosh, what I do for a living is probably pretty boring. I To put it in not in sort of vague terms, I work for a cloud computing company and actually work in AI as an analyst. So that's pretty nerdy unto itself and usually puts people to sleep. But on my side gig, I'm actually a DJ. So I've been doing that for about, let's see, doing the math here. Yeah, gosh, we're almost coming on 20 years now. Yeah, I've been doing like the club circuit and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a fun thing that I like to throw around. I actually just got back from a gig last night that kept me up to about 3. So thankfully I've been calculated and I'm feeling good.
Hey, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. But what else could yeah, like other than that, another fun thing about me is I'm actually the executive director of a esports community.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's called Freestyle Takeover. To kind of put it in layman's terms, you've seen some of the music games like Dance Dance Revolution or
Yep.
Yeah.
Put Up? Yeah. So you've seen it like at the arcade and stuff, people, their feet are moving faster, trying, get the high score, be accurate and all that. Now imagine if you could take that game and turn it into, like, I guess in sort of NBA terms, like a dunk contest. So it's like it's not just how good you are, but how good you look doing it.
Mm,
And yeah, if you've seen like videos on TikTok or YouTube or something where people are like, "Oh my God, this guy's dancing along with
yeah.
how he's playing." Yeah, it was sort of a movement that a lot of us started back in like 1999, 2000 or so. Like I was part of that movement, and I was like a tournament player, and I was like pretty big on the scene, big enough that like I was being asked to judge tournaments and such. So yeah, it's a very interesting cult following that game has. So yeah, I actually run tournaments, and yeah, what we do is we see people up there kind of like turn video gaming into performance art, which
Right.
a lot of people think it's like, they hear, oh, you watch people play video games, it's like you're watching people button mash or something, and no, no, it's totally not that. This is, like when we say, esports, we put like athleticism into this nonsense.
That's very
So
cool.
yeah, it's a goofy little thing, but I love it, and quite honestly, it was kind of one of those things that really changed my life as far as like kind of before that I was sort of directionless, aimless, like I was working kind of just doing my thing, but I met so many different people, different walks of life I never would have imagined otherwise. And, getting good at the tournament scenes when our videos are being uploaded, I was getting like hollered at by people around the world, like, "Hey, I saw your video. You did pretty awesome." I was like, "Oh, whoa,"
That's
this is
pretty
like
awesome.
before, Twitter and like Facebook social media. This is like people uploading their videos onto like their own servers. Like this is before YouTube even existed. So it's pretty wild how it came from that to, kind of where it is now. So yeah, it was a pretty fun little thing. And I mean, I've just been a gamer all my life. I own so many consoles. I have like 11 arcade machines, I want to say here.
That's
Oh
incredible.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. I love video games. I'm like always on my P5 or Nintendo Switch, so I get it.
Yeah, Switch is pretty big around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
So
you been gaming
what's up?
on? Yeah, what you been gaming on lately?
I usually game on geez, Fortnite, Apex, 2K, Madden, play God of War sometimes. I play Spider-Man. So I'm everywhere. I'm in all different games.
Nice, nice. Definitely looking forward to the new 2K. And
Yeah.
I've been curious enough to see like how that college NCAA came out. Apparently, like a lot of people like it, so I'm probably gonna
Yeah, I
give that
heard
a
they
whirl.
yeah, I mean like I heard
Yeah,
it. I mean it's really good. But I mean I haven't purchased it yet, but I will within the next few weeks.
very cool.
So
Yeah, right.
can you tell us where your Wheel of Fortune journey began? Can you tell us when you started watching it and what made you want to apply?
Oh wow, how fun, the origin story. Oh, I mean, origin story is not very different from many other people. It's like I'm an impressionable kid, must have been like in the early 80s or so. Um, I think I first got into Wheel pretty much during the day when it was on daytime, actually. So it would be around summertime. It's like right after you wake up, you have your cereal and all that. It's like, okay, how do you pass time? It's like, okay, 10 o'clock is when you have Price is Right. And then like after that would be okay, Wheel of Fortune. And by noontime, you get some boring show like Perry Mason or like, one of those, funny days, like, okay, lunchtime. And then after that, you'd play around for a bit. And then there would be like the afternoon game shows, which was like Pyramid or Joker's Wild, stuff like that. So I became a game show junkie like as a kid off the rip. Um, it's just kind of one of those things that it's like not only was I just being entertained seeing people try to win lots of money, and I'm daydreaming, gosh, what it would be to win a brand new car or cash or all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was kind of one of those things I would just get sucked into, sort of like as an escape, a fantasy, that sort of thing. Um, I guess when I started thinking about, could I be on there? I guess I kind of always had I was a pretty good processor in my brain, because I remember like when I was a kid, I was in kindergarten, like they would send me to first grade for math, and one of the things they would do is they would like set up the desks, and you would start at one desk and the teacher would hold up a flashcard like, what's 4 plus 5, and like for some reason I was like, super quick at thinking, so I always knew I had very fast reflexes when it came to recall and stuff like that. So okay, clearly I had potential for smarts. So yeah, I kind of ran with that. I was pretty good at spelling bees when I was a kid too. Like won my school spelling bee 3 times, did county 3 times, got to yeah, did county to district, and then I made it to state once. So, I guess for wheel, that might be a pretty important relevant skill. Um, yeah, does that. Probably a lot of people talk about saying, they do crossword puzzles or like word searches. One of the things that actually helped me a ton with sort of processing, like kind of figuring out, words was actually cryptographs. So are you familiar with those? Yeah.
Your
So with
grandma pulls up
cryptograms,
on your own
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it was like all the kids they were always reading like highlights and like all the other things. But there was that magazine at the time, Games, which I was like really big into, because not only did it have crosswords, but it had like the cryptograms, it had like all these logic puzzles and stuff like that. So it was always like I was always working my brain for like that sort of thing. So that's just kind of how. And I was always into the like nerdy things like encyclopedias and almanacs. Like I probably couldn't tell you, like what the lyrics were to Hey Diddle Diddle Cat in the Fiddle, but I could tell you the GDP of Belize, or like, the capital of, like I was kind of weird like that. So that's kind of, this is sort of how I got into the whole being like, a brainiac, getting ready for, someday this useless knowledge might actually help me. Um, then sort of like kind of going on the gaming tip, like, game showing and quizzing. In junior high, when I started that, there was this thing called the Knowledge Bowl. So
Right.
Knowledge Bowl is like a team that you have in your schools. Our junior high, when I was in 7th grade, we ranked #1 in California and #2 in the nation.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So yeah, we were kind of, I mean, I guess we were all stars, but by that I mean the one guy that was on our team, are you familiar? You're familiar with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
Joe Cola, one of the millionaires. Yeah, that's my boy.
Wow.
Oh
That's
wow,
something.
that's wow.
Yeah, the guy who won 1 million. Yep, he was. And
Wait, who was he on with Meredith? Or who's he on with?
I want to say it was Regis because this was like
Okay.
in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
Okay, it's probably Reader's Dreams, yeah.
Yeah, but Joe, he was like, yeah, he was a ringer and a half. I was just like little more than happy to be there, but I mean, yeah, clearly I was riding shotgun to someone that good. So yeah, things like that kind of got me into like the whole, okay, this is sort of like what it's like to be on Jeopardy or stuff like that. And then with that, um I actually did try to get on Jeopardy when I was like 19. So and this wasn't even like college week or like, kids or anything. Like I was trying to go full head on, like, I'm gonna go against the, old folks. So I did go. So before, when there, weren't even computers, you'd have to go down to LA to like, Century City, and you'd have to come on a Thursday and try out in the mornings, when they would hold like monthly tryouts. So I did. And on the written test, I actually did well enough to get to the second round.
Oh
So I
wow.
was like, man, maybe I'm cut out for this. So I get to the second round of auditions where you play the mock game, and I had smarts, but I was also very reckless. So it's like, it didn't even matter if I knew the answer or not. I just wanted to ring in first and like kind of freeze people out because, I'm trying to play that game. And it was like, I was basically going 50-50, at that point. So my end total didn't look very good. And, I was relying too much on smarts and not thinking about how to play the game. And, like obviously, as all of us now, since we've been on Will, we know about strategy more than just, oh, I know words and I can fill in blanks. So that was a pretty big wake up call for me. But the good thing about that, I mean, had I not done that, I would have that had a contesting coordinator from there tell me, hey, the wheelmobile is going to be at San Jose State, where I was going to college at the time. And I was like, all right, sure. I mean, I'll try Wheel of Fortune. I mean, it's easier than Jeopardy, that's for sure. Which not shade at Wheel of Fortune by any means. I mean, we can all attest it ain't that easy.
Right.
um, yeah, so with that, I did, when they came to the campus, I did put my name on the index card, all that stuff. And I figured, okay, if I hear, cool. And if not, hey, I mean, these things are probably, it's just random like that. But sure enough, like a couple weeks later, I did get the call, and I'd been selected to audition in San Francisco at the Fairmont, up there. Um, Kind of as a sidebar before I kind of go into like the next part of that is when we talk about why did you want to be on a game show, part of me was sort of, I mean, this is just growing up like as I did, um as an Asian American, you didn't see a lot of Asian people on TV at the time, especially in the 80s, if they weren't like the kung fu master, or if they weren't like whatever stereotype you want to throw in there. It's like, so it was a big deal when we saw someone out there. It's like, oh wow, it'd be like if we saw someone on TV, mom would be like, "Wow, get over here! There's a Chinese kid." So it was like kind of just one of those funny, little like games that you have around the house. So it was, part of me was like, I don't know if I can get on because of that. But the other time, I kind of felt like I wanted to be like a party crasher of sorts. Like, why couldn't it be me? It's, I guess in some ways, I kind of felt like I wanted to be the Forrest Gump of, that I would just end up in random various situations. And, sometimes it's happenstance and sometimes it's by design. But, I'm always curious how the other half lives. Like, why, I always wonder, how can I get into this exclusive club, like looking like me or being someone totally different. So it's like, being that variant or, like the outlier, that kind of gave me a rush. It's like, oh, I could fit in. Nice, It's like, how can you sneak into the VIP club? How can, you get backstage? So that was kind of one of the things I was thinking about, like, how can I get on? Why not me? So
Right.
anyway, back to the Fairmont Hotel. So I get there on a Saturday morning, and they do like a 5-minute 16 puzzle written test, which I'm not sure how like it is nowadays. I mean, because you have Zoom interviews and all that kind of stuff. But the way we did, yeah, you had like just a piece of paper, and you had